Shakespeare microvlogs, Sonnet 29. The penultimate line has the word remembered written ED as opposed to apostrophe D. So the question that I was asked was, do you pronounce it remembered? So if we put that in place and we go through our standard iambic rhythm, that would give us, for thy sweet love remembered such wealth brings, which doesn't feel great for the sense, and it also gives us a feminine ending, which means that that last word, brings, is on a soft stress and it feels kind of thrown away, when in fact that is the start of setting up a rhyming couplet, which means that we want to give that a nice strong stress so that it can point up that we're going into a rhyming couplet, which gives us a sense of anticipation that then gives us some satisfaction when it's resolved at the end of the second line. So that would mean that we want a nice big strong stress on brings. So for that reason I would use elision to crush down remembered to remembered, as we do every day now anyway. And if we do that, then the line becomes, for thy sweet love remembered such wealth brings, which feels closer, but it doesn't feel like it's really eking out all of the sense. So how do we go about doing that? One technique would be to use our rhythmic variations. So in this instance, I would look at introducing a couple of spondes. So an I am would be di-dum, soft stress, strong stress, and a sponde would be dum-dum, two strong stresses. And the reason that I'm going to introduce those is because we have quite a few poignant monosyllables here, and monosyllables are a great opportunity to slow things down, to give things more weight. So in this situation, I would read the line as being an I am sponde, I am sponde, which would sound like, for thy sweet love remembered such wealth brings. So we're getting two sets of three strong stresses in a row in that situation. But that's not all, because we're actually then sacrificing the most important word in that whole line, which is the verb, remembered. Verbs are action words, and those are the things that really carry a lot of the sense in Shakespeare. And in this situation, what Shakespeare is saying is not that thy sweet love brings the wealth, but the act of remembering the sweet love brings the wealth. So we need to really highlight remembered, and I would do that with a rise in intonation and a sense of inflection. So that would be, for thy sweet love remembered such wealth brings. Now I'm overplaying it for clarity, of course, but you can get the general sense of it from there. And if we go with that, that gives us a nice lead up to the resolve in the second line. So we get, for thy sweet love remembered such wealth brings, that then I scorn to change my state with kings. Now obviously I'm not acting this, I'm just trying to eke out as much sense as possible so you can follow the journey of the thought. But I hope that you can see how those devices are helping. On that last line there, we have a richness of monosyllables again, which means that there's plenty to explore there, but also we have that word then in a conventional strong stress position, and that's an example of taking care of the small words and how actually those small words can really help you direct the audience in terms of where the journey of the thought is going. That then being in a strong position means to us that we get the idea of, if this then what? So if I remember thy sweet love, then I scorn to change my state. So that word is doing a hell of a lot of work in that position. So what have we covered? I think we've used 6 different cards from the deck on just 2 lines of text. We've looked at monosyllables and giving them the weight and emphasis that they deserve. We looked at hitting the verbs. We've also looked at freeing ourselves from the tyranny of metre by using our iambic variations. We've also looked at serving the rhyme and making sure that we're pointing that up. And we've done that by using elision, so we're squeezing the number of syllables in a word to help it fit that normal iambic pattern. Okay, so there's all sorts going on, and then we've taken care of the small words as well, so that's 6. So all of these things are going on all of the time, and they're there for the taking. And crucially, by understanding these things, we can apply them creatively as actors in service of the sense and in service of our performance, so that this is a toolkit for you to use that empowers you. It's not a rigid structure that tells you that there's a right or wrong. And for that reason, if you would have a different line reading for this, or a different set of emphases, or a different interpretation, please let me know in the comments below.